If you're working in the not-for-profit sector, you know the value of the work that you're providing. You know the value of the job that you're providing. You're passionate, you're committed about what you do, and what you're seeing is not just the devastation of your job, of your livelihood, but you're seeing the devastation of the support that that job gives to communities, gives to young people, gives to disadvantaged people. And why? So that people can continue to live in a lifestyle that's bloated and rich and just frankly outrageously unfair. Most of us working in the public sector care passionately about what we do. We're not in the jobs that we do to make huge amounts of money, to take big fat bonuses for wrecking the economy. What we're in it to do is to provide a service to often vulnerable people, and we believe in the service that we provide. And we believe that the arguments for cutting that service are unjustified in terms of the impact that they're going to have on the people that we provide the service to. And what we've got to do is we've got to get angry. We've got to get angry and point the finger at the people that are to blame for the crisis that we're in and are getting away with it. And I think we have to defend our services. If we believe that the job that we're providing is useful to the community, then we have to fight for that service. And what we have to do is use every resource available to us. That's the trade unions, that's the communities, that's the people we provide that service to. Wherever we've seen a fight over cuts, we've seen some success. In my sector in health, there were threats to speech and language therapists' jobs in Southwark. They took strike action, and they reversed virtually all of the cuts in that area. Now that's a small example, but we've seen universally where people fighting, they are getting something back, not everything. And I think if you're not in a fight, whether that's a strike or a campaign, you can't win. And I think that what we're trying to do is trying to give people the confidence with the arguments why there is an alternative to the cuts that the Tories are planning at the moment. The old slogans, unity of strength, actually means something. The more we stick together as workers, but also with the people that the service we're providing to, the stronger we are. A whole way of approaching how we fight against cuts, and part of that is mapping the cuts. And what that involves is looking at who the cuts are impacting, where the cuts are impacting, and where we can start developing alliances. That would also mean, when we map the cuts, looking at where we can exert the most influence. So if it is mapping the cut and then determining that the best way to defend that service is by lobbying MPs, lobbying councillors, then that's part of the mapping process. We map out where that leverage can be found. In the past, trade unions very much dealt with their terms and conditions and their wages. And what we're saying now is we cannot just do that. It's important as a trade unionist that you don't compromise your job, not just because you need it to live on, but because that's a service that you're providing. So very much now what we're doing is we're saying we provide a service, and then it's the defence of that service to the people that we provide that service that we're looking to engage in. So if you are working in housing, you're looking at engaging the people that live in your houses, the tenants associations, your houses, other housing groups, unifying perhaps across the sector all of those areas that use the service. That's what we're looking at. If you have got cuts in your youth services, we know it's very difficult for you, working in that sector, to take industrial action, to take strike action, for instance, because they want to cut you anyway. But what we're looking at is developing links with the local communities, the local youth groups, especially in this post-riot knee-jerk reaction period. We need to actually start looking at the kind of services that we provide, being proud of the services that we provide, and making alliances that people would use those services. That would be the youth, the tenants associations, family groups, women's groups where there's childcare arrangements involved, childcare informations. Anywhere we can think about how we can develop leverage in defending that service. One of the things that we're doing in Unite at the moment is we're looking at how we can cooperate and fight alongside the community. So if we had a campaign in a local area, in a sector, about defending a particular service, we wouldn't just be concentrating on the trade unionists and the workers inside that service. We would be formally inviting in people that use the service, perhaps any anti-cuts groups in the area, people from the Trades Council, anyone that is using that service that we think can help us develop leverage to defend that service. We want them in so they become a part of the trade union campaign. And what the trade union's got is a degree of know-how, but it's also got resources. One of the most important things that we can do in Unite at the moment is provide support and training and a bit of inspiration and a bit of politics to our beleaguered workers. And what that means is if you contact us, what we will provide you training and support on how to develop organisation. So what we're looking at is developing organisation inside the trade union, developing mapping your workplace so that you know where your members are, where your members aren't, mapping where your cuts are that we've already spoken about, developing new stewards, looking at techniques for being able to take on issues that involve campaigning and not just dealing with the issues that you face. But we're also looking at linking up with other parts of your sector, so very much developing the stewards and the workers and the activists inside their workplace, but linking them in with the communities that they're actually servicing.